keep it mellow. I smoke and keep it mellow. I drink and keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow.
What's going on, guys? So today is Saturday. I'm actually driving back home from this clinic that I volunteer at every Saturday. So it's a free healthcare clinic located just like five minutes down the street from me. The clinic that I volunteer at, everything is for free. The doctors see the patients for free. We do lab work for free. We file prescriptions, or we fill prescriptions for free. It's a great opportunity for the underserved in our community. And what my job is I usually work in the lab. So I draw blood, and then whatever the tests are, I fill out the paperwork for them, and then I send it off to a lab. That's what I do most of the time, just mainly draw blood. And other times I'll fill prescriptions in the pharmacy that we have. So it's really a great experience for me. I still get a good amount of patient interaction when I'm drawing blood, and then I also get to kind of learn and familiarize myself with a lot of drugs that are commonly prescribed. So it's a win-win, you know. I'm learning a lot of things about the medical field still, or I get to practice my medical skills, and I benefit the community around me. So later today, I'm gonna show you guys me doing some HIIT cardio, and then today's actually cheat day, so maybe I'll take you guys with me to my cheat meal tonight. Other than that, just gonna be studying GI, and hopefully my test goes well on Monday.
Can I put my, is it too much to ask for? Yeah. Can I put my lips on your skin, babe? Ask for.
Alright, we're taking a quick study break. We're gonna do HIIT on the bicycles. We're gonna warm up for a minute, and then turn this to a good resistance, and do this for 15 seconds all out, and then relax the tension for 45 seconds afterwards. We're gonna do that for 10 rounds. It's gonna be really intense, and it's gonna be very painful, but it's a good quick workout, and it's a really good study break. Kind of getting sleepy studying, so this is a good way to break up studying and still reach your fitness goals. That was really hard. Lungs are burning. It's not a good idea after Olive Garden because my stomach's cramping. Just not a good feeling, but I know I'll feel a lot better after doing this. If you guys want a good, idea for HIIT cardio, search on YouTube, Power Hour playlist. In every single minute, the song should change, or there should have some kind of like alarm signifying a minute. And that way you know you've completed one round of your HIIT. It's really actually meant for drinking, but you can use it for cardio too. So give it a try. Just YouTube search Power Hour playlist and pick one that you really enjoy. Alright, it's the next day. It's Sunday. I woke up at 162.3 pounds. Still really light. I think I should be about 163 to 164 by the end of this week. So we are actually having cinnamon rolls. What's the other one? This is a cinnamon roll French toast bake. It's got eggs in it, so it's totally cool. It's protein. But I'm gonna enjoy this and start studying some more.
Get it?
I can't get a piece.
Got
Here,
Wow.
where I kept all of my gear, but it's not really underutilized, and I need to make like a chill.
It's really good.
Video.
Look at this dedication. Packing all her meals for tomorrow. Look what we got here. What are you doing? Do you want some more hits? So, this is everything I got from Ghost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shirts. And I asked for some more protein and pre-workout because I was running low on those. So I'm gonna open all these up and show you guys what I got. Hey! This is all the styles. Most of it just has designs on the back. That shirt and that shirt are designs on the front. What are you doing? And so what happened was They asked me what shirts I wanted, and I just gave them a couple. I didn't want to say all of them because I felt really bad about asking for all the shirts. So I ended up buying these two on my own just because I really liked them too. And I'm more than happy to support the company that's supporting me. So went ahead, bought 2 extra shirts, but they sent me more shirts than I thought they would. So I have 2 of these. Maybe I'll do a giveaway for you guys. We'll see. Hey, are you biting my shirt? What the? This shirt right here and that shirt right there, those are short sleeves. Everything else, oh, that's a short sleeve too. You can't see it because Penelope's blocking it. But just thought I'd show you guys what Ghost has out. These are already all online for sale, so check it out if you want to represent Ghost. I think some of them are already sold out though, so be aware of that. Thank you again, Ghost, for all the awesome shirts. Stocking me up on more supplements. If you guys want to try them out, use the code BALEGEND to get 20% off. That doesn't go to me. Like I said, I'm not making commission on anything like that. I just want to give a code to help you guys out. Other than that, oh gosh, today I took my final exam for GI and it was really hard, way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Hopefully I didn't do too bad, but what's done is done. What are you doing? Hey, no. Today had a weigh-in of 161.3. Remember, I started at 168.7, so down a whole 7 pounds. All right, here is the current physique. 161 pounds. I think my back leans out the quickest compared to my front. Time for the gym. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. We're going to get to the main topic of today's video, which is what is the science behind fasted cardio? I'm going to talk about what fasted cardio is, what is going on in your body while you're fasted, and what do research studies say about it. So we're going to go ahead and just start off by talking about what is fasted cardio. So fasted cardio is exactly what the name implies. It's cardio when you are fasted or when you haven't eaten anything for a prolonged amount of time. So generally when people do fasted cardio, they wake up in the morning, don't eat anything, and then they go to the gym and do cardio. And the theory behind that is if you do cardio on an empty stomach, you're going to utilize your fat as energy instead of the food in your stomach, thus burning more fat. But some people are actually worried about your body using muscle as energy instead of fat during fasted cardio. And so I'm going to kind of talk about all of those things, the pros and cons of doing fasted cardio, and show you guys what the literature says. Alright guys, if you follow me on Instagram, then you've seen this picture before. This is kind of a compilation of what exactly medical school has taught me so far. Now, we don't talk about fasted cardio during medical school, but these are some basic principles that we learned that I think can be applied to fasted cardio. It's important to understand that your body kind of has a tug of war or a struggle between fat loss and adding fat. So your body has 3 main hormones that regulate this. On one side of the rope, you have insulin. So insulin decreases your lipolysis and decreases the rest of these functions, which we're not really going to talk about. But lipolysis is the metabolism of fat, or the breakdown of fat. And then on the other side of the rope, we have glucagon and epinephrine. And these two, mainly glucagon and a little bit of epinephrine, as you can see, glucagon's a bigger person than epinephrine, but mainly these 2 hormones are what regulate fat metabolism. So kind of diving down further, we're going to talk about glucagon first, which I said is the hormone that increases your lipolysis or your fat metabolism. So we want to know what stimulates glucagon secretion. How do we get glucagon out of our cells into our body to burn fat? Here, can be kind of a sensory overload, but let's just look at this right here. We have amino acids and epinephrine are the main 2 things that stimulate glucagon secretion. When you have epinephrine and amino acids in your body, that's going to go into your alpha cells in your pancreas and then secrete glucagon into your bloodstream. And that's going to tell your body that, okay, we need to mobilize lipids or we need to mobilize adipose tissue and use that as energy. So that is how we stimulate glucagon secretion. Next, we're going to talk about insulin secretion and how do we stimulate insulin. When we are trying to lose fat, we want to decrease our insulin secretion as much as possible, but we still need it. Insulin is still very important. So as we can see here, glucose, mainly glucose and a little bit of amino acids, stimulate the secretion from insulin to go out of our beta cells in our pancreas into our bloodstream. So as you can see, insulin here decreases lipolysis. So you're going to stop burning fat when you secrete insulin. You're going to stop doing this and you're going to actually increase your fat synthesis and increase your protein synthesis. Now this is really important because I don't want you guys to think that you should eliminate all carbs and stop your insulin secretion while trying to lose fat, because we need insulin. We need carbohydrates to maintain our muscle mass. We need insulin to keep up protein synthesis so we don't break down our muscles. And it's just a normal part of everyday life to stay healthy. So don't go all crazy in thinking that we should cut out all glucose from our diet to lose fat. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that whenever you eat carbohydrates and have glucose in your body, you increase your insulin secretion. And when your insulin is secreted, you stop burning fat and you start synthesizing fats and proteins. So really important there. So now keeping those hormones in mind, this is also very important. When you are fasting, you're gonna be moving molecules from your body storages to use as energy. So glucagon and adrenaline are the two hormones that drive this process. They're going to mobilize your energy stores and use them for energy. So if we look at this diagram here, we have our adipose tissue being used as fatty acids for our liver and fatty acids for our muscle for energy. And then our liver is going to turn this fat or our adipose tissue into glucose and ketones, glucose for our brain and ketones for our muscles. So glucagon drives this entire process. And it's important to note that when you are fasting, you are increasing glucagon secretion. Hopefully you're still with me. I'm not trying to confuse you guys. Main things I want you guys to take away from this is that when you're fasting, you are burning fat, and when you are fed, you're synthesizing fat and you're synthesizing proteins. With that in mind, it is kind of intuitive to think that when you are doing cardio fasted, you are even further increasing your fat metabolism and further increasing your fat burning capabilities. But I'm gonna look at some key studies here that address these ideas. So before we dive into the studies, and if you want to do research on your own, I want to give you guys a few really important things to keep in mind when you're doing research. Just because a research study has been published and seems legitimate does not mean that the way they conducted the experiment is the best for answering your questions. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that the date is very important whenever you're doing research and reading things, because science changes so quickly. If you're reading a study from 1980s or 1970s, the chances are that the science now is different is tremendous. I'm not saying that every study back in the 1980s is completely obsolete now. I mean, we still use Newton's equations for physics. So I'm not discrediting old science. I'm just saying that it's beneficial to look at new research and try to find what new research is saying. So always look at the date of those research articles. And I want you guys to always keep in mind the sample size of every study, because we have 7 billion people on this earth. And if you are reading an experiment that has a sample size of 10 people, that's not going to be representative of all 7 billion people on this earth. So you need to keep in mind the sample size of your study, because even though the study says one thing, it may not be true for everyone. And the last thing I want you guys to keep in mind is the research methods, because some experiments may claim that certain things are happening, but because the research methods are faulty, they're not really addressing the underlying issue. An example of that is this study done by Trebelsi, where he wanted to see if fasted cardio was beneficial for improving fat loss. And he had two groups and he made them do the same cardio, and what he did was he had one group do fasted and one group do fed cardio. And what his results were that the fasted group actually burned more fat than the fed group. But a huge issue in his experiment was that the fed group actually ate more calories in a 24-hour period than the fasted group. So that's just basic calories in versus calories out. If you're eating more calories than the other group, then of course you're gonna have less fat loss. Okay, now into the actual studies. Okay, so the first study I'm gonna talk about is a study by Joel Acton and others, and it's in the Journal of Sports Sciences, and it's talking about the effect of pre-exercise carbohydrate feedings on the intensity that elicits maximal fat oxidation. Or in other words, he's just seeing the effect of carbohydrates and fasted cardio on fat metabolism. So what he did is he had 2 groups of 11 people, 22 people total, which is a good amount, and he gave them both a drink when they woke up. One group just had a placebo, meaning there was nothing in it, it was probably just water, and the other group had 75 grams of glucose in there, or carbohydrates in their drink. So he made them drink this drink right when they woke up, waited 45 minutes, and they both did the same exact exercise. And in order to measure fat metabolism, he measured the gas exchange and the heart rates immediately after exercise. And he measured the gas exchange via blood samples. So what he found was the people who ingested carbohydrates actually had a higher maximal power output, meaning they produced more energy when exercising. But he found that the people who had carbohydrates before working out, they actually had less fat loss, and the rate at which they burned fat was less than the people who didn't have any carbs before doing fasted cardio. So what he's basically saying is that yes, fasted cardio does burn more fat compared to eating before cardio. But this was done in 2003. We don't know the total caloric intake of both groups, so we don't know if the fasted group had less calories in a 24-hour period than the fed group. But I think maybe the way he's trying to get around this is by measuring this right after exercise. But this doesn't give us the total picture of total fat loss, because we know that the harder you work, the longer it takes for your body to recover. And the people who ate might have actually expended more energy and done more muscle damage to have a prolonged period time of fat loss. So we don't know the total fat loss in the grand scheme of things, but we do know that fasted cardio has an acute effect on fat metabolism, not a long-term effect on fat metabolism. But what we can say maybe is that fasted cardio burns more fat in a short amount of time versus a long window of time. But be careful, because it can be very short-sighted to think that this is better than fed cardio, because we're not looking at the whole picture. We're not looking at the grand scheme of things. We're just looking at a short window of time here. So another study I want to talk about in 2011, and it's published in the Journal of Sport Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism. This was done by Paoli and a group of other researchers to basically do the same thing. They studied the fat metabolism in fasted versus fed cardio, and they also had 2 groups. It says they had 8 healthy young men, so I think that's 4 people per group, so kind of a smaller study. They performed moderate intensity exercising, which is 36 minutes on the treadmill. They had 2 random test groups, which is great. You want to have your groups be random. And 1 group was fasted before cardio and 1 group ate before cardio. An important thing to note in this research is that both parties, or both groups, had the same exact amount of calories within a 24-hour time window. So we know that their caloric intake is the exact same, which is great. That's something we want in an experiment like this. However, what he found was that there was no difference between the fasting and fed groups. So he found that fasting before exercise does not enhance lipid utilization. Basically, it doesn't enhance your body's ability to get rid of your adipose tissue and use it for energy. So really interesting. That's a more recent study done. We have conflicting results here. So at the end of the day, these are both reputable experiments, and they had great designs. So I think we can't really say yet that fasted cardio is better than fed cardio, just because we have confounding results here. And we don't know whose experiment design was better. We weren't there when they were conducting the experiment. But I think what we really should address is, does fasted cardio hurt your muscle mass? Because that would be a big reason to not do it. Because we don't want to do cardio in hopes of burning fat and burn our muscle instead, because then we're just gonna look skinny and fat versus muscular and lean, and that's not really what we're going for. So I think it's important to examine a study that talks about fasted cardio and muscle metabolism. So in analyzing muscle mass and fasted cardio, the study done by Trebelsky showed that between a fasted group and a fed group doing cardio, the only thing that changed was their fat mass. He didn't notice any change in muscle mass. So that kind of debunks the myth of fasted cardio targeting your muscles for fat loss versus your fat tissue for fat loss. So that's a good thing. That's definitely something that we want to address when doing fasted cardio. The bottom line is that there's no concrete evidence that fasted cardio is better than fed cardio. It just comes down to what you enjoy more. Do you like doing cardio on an empty stomach and getting it out of the way right when you wake up? Or do you like having something in your stomach and using that energy to help you do cardio a little bit better. I personally, I like doing fasted cardio and I like doing fed cardio. You saw earlier I did some HIIT cardio fed. Now I would definitely not recommend doing fasted HIIT cardio because that is such a taxing cardio on your body that you definitely are bound to use more than just fat. When you have such a high demand of energy in your body is probably going to dip into that muscle to use as energy. So don't recommend doing HIIT fasted, but I enjoy doing both, so I would recommend to you, do what you enjoy. I wish I had more of a definitive answer for you guys, but hopefully I debunked some myths. No, fasted cardio is not better. No, fasted cardio is not worse. And do fasted cardio if you want to. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you liked this video, this style of video, comment down below and maybe I'll do more. I'm happy to cover any other topics. I do not think I'll be posting a video next week because I have a midterm coming up the week after. So I'm sorry about that, but go ahead and subscribe so you can find out when my next video uploads.